Hi everyone. Today I'll be giving you my midterm progress report presentation for the module Project-Based Learning, Business Capstone, Artificial Intelligence and Finance. In today's agenda, I'll start off by giving you a demo of the project that I developed so far. Then I'll go over the tools that I used to develop it, followed by showing you how to set it up and a few of the concepts that I think are relevant to mention in terms of programming. Finally, I'll discuss some of the future steps that I see for this project and give you a few concluding notes. I hope you enjoy. The project that I'm working in is a website. I'm learning how to develop it through a tutorial. So if you want to check it out, I can link it in the description or in the comments. Just let me know. This website is locally hosted, so only I can access it at the moment through my computer. But hopefully in the future, this will not be the case and it will be public. This website is made up of 4 pages: a home page, which is this one, a login page where the user can enter its information, for example, my email, a logout page, and a sign up page where the user can sign up. So if I try to sign up with an email that is too short, this page will give me an error. The same will happen for the name, and the same will happen if the passwords are not equal to each other, such as here. But if I put everything correct, and I submit, then my account has been created. So that's my website. But how did I do it? I used 4 tools. Flask, which is a web development framework or software, which allows us to create websites using Python. Then for the back end of this website, I used Python as the main language, which backend here, at least the interpretation that I've been learning, is, for example, how the pages interact to each other when, so the part that the user doesn't see. So for example, creating a website to view. So if I add a slash onto the URL and I want that to lead to a different page, then Python will do that. But I'll show later on in the code how this works so you can visualize better. For the front end, I used HTML and CSS. HTML was for the appearing elements of the page. So for example, if I wanted to add a box, HTML will help me do that. So the user can see a box in the page or a button. For CSS, it's for the styling elements. So it's to style the page. So if I want the button to move in a certain way or to look a certain way in terms of colors, CSS will help me do that. But again, I'll show a bit in the code so it's easier to visualize. And so I learned how to establish a bit of a directory structure for success, so that it's robust and we can work on it more and more if we want to complexify this website. So this is the structure of the programming pages, so the files that make up our website. The directory has 2 main sections. It has the website section, the website folder, and the main Python file. The main Python file is used to run the app. That's its main goal, main purpose. And the website holds most of the coding for the website, which we are going to explore now. The website has 3 sections. It has a static folder, a templates folder, and it has other Python files. The static folder is not going to be a focus for us in this presentation because it is used for any additional JavaScript code that we want to add into the website, which is not the case for us at the moment. Then we have the templates file, which is used to store the HTML files. These templates, so I'll just display to you what it looks like in the editor. So the templates file is used to establish visual templates for the user. So what the user sees. This base HTML file is what defines the aesthetic of the website in general. So the coding that is in the base file applies to every page of the website. For example, in the base file, we have the navigation bar, and that is universal. It will keep showing up no matter the page we're in. Then we have these flashing messages in the base templates. So it is the messages that flashed in the sign up for the errors. That would also apply for any other page if we had assigned a message to it, an error message to it. So that's the base template. The other templates serve to describe what the other pages look like. For example, the home. If we go to the home HTML, the only element it has is this is the home page, which shows up here. And for the sign up, it holds the description of the elements of the sign up page, for example, which we can see here. So that's the templates page. It's for the appearance of it. The init file, the init Python file, is one of the most essential files that we have. The most important ones are the main and this init file, because they are the files that run this application. They run this website. So this is almost a formality. The coding doesn't vary too much because this is the way you start the app. You need to import Flask into it, and then you define a function that that will give you as a return the app, the website. And so the purpose of this init is to actually convert the website folder into a Python package, so the main Python file can run the app. Then we have the auth Python file, which stands for authentication. This Python file focuses on the authentication aspect of this website, how there's, because this is for users, to manage users, to create accounts. So the elements that are here have to do with that. You have the form, so this part is Python. So you have the form to create. So this is for the flashing messages, but also to request information. So there's two parts here, actually. Yeah, we can cover this part, actually, the sign up page. These are a lot of interesting things that we can go through. We have this request method equals post. So here we are actually sending information from to the server. This is an HTTP request. There's post requests and GET requests. This is a post request. So we're sending information from our website to the server, and the information is the user information. We're asking here for the email, the first name, the password 1 and password 2. And once we get this information, we're also looking at the flashing messages. So we actually are using if loops, if statements, sorry, to show these flashing messages. So if the length of the email is less than 8 characters, then this will flash a message. saying the email must be greater than 8 characters. And we put here category error so that when we use CSS, we can actually color these messages in red. That's why all of these have a category. It's easier to then make them all show up as red. Whereas here we have a category success for account created so that the message can show up in green in the future when we code the styling of it. And this is the backend aspect of it. At least that's how I perceive it, the backend. And then once we go to the front end, we get to use this category. And so all else, so if all of these, if this criteria is fulfilled, then we can actually just go for account created. And finally, here we have a return statement, which renders a template. This statement is calling the HTML template in the templates folder so that it can actually appear in the page. So you have to render the template. And you actually need to import this function at the beginning of the page. You have to import render template as you have to import requests, which is this post request that I mentioned previously. Yeah, and here in this route, so routes are a formality in Flask. It usually shows up before function. And here in this route, we're specifying that we are allowing the methods get in post to be activated. That's what we're saying here. So that's our authentication Python file. It's the most complex Python file that I've done so far in this program. And then we have the models one, which is not anything yet because it's for data models, which is not, hasn't been developed yet, but that's for after. And then the views, which is here it's for the home page. We're activating the home page. So here we programmed the appearance of the home page, and here we're activating the home page. We're rendering template home. Yeah, and here I'm saying views equal. We're talking about blueprint and views, which is a new terminology. Views are, so view is, from what I understood, is when you have, for example, you activate a view when you decide on a on like a path. It's an accumulation of patterns. So, for example, the sign up page could be a view, and then the blueprint is several views. Yeah. So these were a few of the, so this was an overview of the structure and a few of the concepts that I think were worth mentioning. And so for the future of this project, I'm going to, or I aim to learn how to manage the users in the future. That's what I'll be working on, and how to log them in, the authentication of recognizing if there's an existing user. And then I'll start thinking of new ideas that I think I could incorporate into this website, or if not, start developing a new one. And hopefully in the future, I'll deploy this website using Heroku so that it can be accessed publicly. Finally, a few concluding notes that I've learned from this project is that I think it's important to have a robust backend before you go into HTML and CSS. I think it's more important to have your routes set up with Python before you start thinking about the elements that the user sees. Because if not, you could actually be creating a structure that might be too simple and won't allow for your creativity to flow when you're developing a website. Then it's really important you keep checking your code for punctuation, spelling, and indentation, because a lot of your errors will come from that. But just in case, Stack Overflow can always help in desperate times. However, this one time I did get a bug, which was a non-type variable error. And once I searched it on Stack Overflow, people were telling me non-type variables are illegal. and that if I was getting that kind of error, my coding was structurally was very wrong. But that error did solve itself. So sometimes it works out okay if you just keep checking your punctuation. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the presentation.